Ann Coulter, of course, the best-selling author, columnist. You go to anncoulter.com. You can get her column there and get her new book. It's called Resistance is Futile. If you don't understand how everything went so crazy, just read this book. It's the best book she's written. Resistance is Futile, Ann Coulter's new book. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. So the election is less than a week away. What is going to happen this final weekend? Are they going to go even more insane?
I think that's the only way they can go. I think that's the only option they have.
And if they were to lose on Tuesday, you're the expert on this resistance. What happens?
I hate to make predictions. Who knows what will happen? And I do think nobody knows what's going to happen in the House. I think it's 50-50. But I tend to think, just for historic reasons, since it is 50-50 and nobody knows, that the Democrats will pick up the House. I hope Republicans hold the Senate.
Well, it looks like
one reason I really, really hope that doesn't happen, and there are arguments to be made, but historically the party in power loses seats, so don't be freaked out if Republicans lose the House. I'll be freaked out if they lose the House and the Senate, not because it's an historical anomaly, but just because it will be very, very, very bad for the country. It'll be bad enough if Democrats just take the House. If they don't take both the House and the Senate, I think that is a minority possibility. That'll be fantastic.
But then what happens?
To see how depressed they are, that is the spice of life.
Well, you think they'll get depressed. What if they just explode with anger?
As opposed to what's happening now?
Well, all right. Well, we don't want to make them mad.
I mean, that'll be interesting. If they take the House, will they settle down? No, I don't think so. I think there is one mode as long as Trump is president, and it is complete insanity.
Have you noticed all these leading Democrats are making speeches and doing TV commercials, and the whole commercial is, get out and vote. It's important to vote. Get out and vote. They never tell you why. They can't seem to think of a reason. It's just vote. They can't tell you why you're supposed to vote for them.
No, that's right. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. In fact, I meant to put it in my column this week. Maybe I'll slip it back in. Dick Armey, remember him?
Yeah.
He was a great guy. Not good on immigration, as I recall, but he used to say, Republicans' problem is they get upset when people don't understand what they're saying. Democrats' problem is when people do understand what they're saying.
Well, but you got to admit, the president stoking fear with this caravan. Most people look at the picture of 8,000 people invading the border and say to themselves, "Oh, that looks nice."
You know, this is when I want to go back to Ross Perot's idea. I don't remember the details of this, but he wanted national referendums on these various items. I would like a national referendum on should the caravan be stopped? Should we have a wall? I think we had a national referendum on that on November 8th, 2016. Was it November 8th? Anyway, I would like a national referendum on sanctuary cities. I would like a national referendum on if you run across the border at 9 months pregnant and drop a baby, do you get to say, ha, 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 my kid's a citizen, even though no law and no Supreme Court has ever said that child is a citizen?
Well, when you see 8,000 people invading and they say, we're breaking into your country whether you like it or not, you have to be nice and say, maybe they're not happy where they are.
Yes, and that home invasion burglar, he's just seeking a better life. I particularly like that the caravan, I mean, forget the MS-13, the already deported accused rapists and murderers, forget the terrorists slipping in with the caravan. They're all burning the American flag, and they have the Nazi symbol on it. Hey, I have an idea. If you're just going to get here and complain about white people, maybe you'd be happier in a country that is not majority white. Well, barely.
But you know, the other thing is, you see where the news media really deliberately shuts itself down and doesn't do its job. Total dereliction of duty. They have these trucks shadowing the caravan with meals for 6,000. We're told last night they were shown a movie. Where's the coverage of how this is funded or where these supplies are coming from?
Boy, are you right. Boy, are you right. No, that is not what the media will be. I suspect until the election, the media is demanding that Trump apologize for the synagogue bombing. Not bombing, shooting.
Hey, everybody's a little stunned. I mean, we know Lester Holt is Mr. Fake News, NBC Fake News. But last night they did the story of the president's visit to Pittsburgh, and the whole thing was slanted as if the president had done something horribly wrong. As if
yes.
And,
yes, it's really weird. I mean, that is the debate on cable TV. Well, is he going to finally apologize? I don't think so. Well, I think he will finally apologize. It's just the premise that this is all, that Trump is behind this. They do this all the time. Somehow they are not responsible for any violence on their side. And this is hardly on our side. I mean, if this had been 11 Jewish tourists in Israel who were killed by a Palestinian bomb, I don't think most of these same liberals complaining about this would have even noticed.
Yeah, and this is the first family ever in the White House who has members who are Orthodox Jews. You'd think somebody would mention that in this awful anti-Semitic attack. Also, the greatest friend ever to Israel in decades. So how do they twist this around, that it's somehow his fault?
Because he's a very, very icky person. He's responsible for everything bad. No, it's utterly illogical, and it shows you that having Jared and Ivanka isn't helping, so he may as well get rid of them.
Yeah. So, Florida, what you would think this crazy Mayor Gillum, who made a mess out of his city, would have no shot, but the Republican candidate hasn't been too great here in this campaign.
Yeah, I can't really understand. The two states that confuse me the most right now are Arizona and Florida. In Arizona, you have really kind of a loon, that woman who would show up in tutus to denounce the U.S. military. That's the Democrat running. And denounce Arizonans. They have all these tapes of her from just a few years back. She's like a Code Pink lady. Cinema, I think her name is. And McSally is the Republican candidate. And they're running neck and neck. Now, I know Arizona isn't as red as people generally think it is. They did have John McCain and Jeff Flake, so they go for Democrats. McSally was the establishment Republican. I'm hoping that the people who are telling pollsters they're not voting for McSally are the Trumpsters, angry that the primary voters didn't pick the MAGA Republican, and on election day their lives will flash before their eyes and they'll run out and vote Republican. But that one is baffling, and Florida is baffling because you're right, not really that impressive a Democrat. I mean, I guess he's charismatic, but corrupt. And what did he just said something completely insane today? What was it on Twitter? You've been up hours longer than I have. What was the thing?
I don't remember. But the two things Florida has is weather and no taxes. Here's a guy threatening to bring taxes back. You would think he'd have no shot at all. Yeah, no, that will be the end of Florida if that happens. Yeah, I mean, if he gets elected and puts in this big state tax, you're going to see everybody leave Florida. Georgia is going to become very crowded. Not only that, I mean, Florida, as New York, California, Connecticut, have been bleeding population over the years. For at least a decade now, Florida has been taking in about 1,000 new people a day. You've never seen such a clear experiment as the last decade of what very low taxes. Florida has no tax. It's one of about 4 states with zero state income tax, and versus high taxes. I mean, in my own state of Connecticut, I think it was last year, GE pulled out because of taxes. And where did GE move to? Where? Of all the places in the country to avoid the high taxes of Connecticut. Mark, they moved to Massachusetts. Yeah, that's how bad Connecticut got. By the way, Stefanowski's the only thing that can save Connecticut, and that's neck and neck. How could that be? Well, because all of the people who pay taxes have moved out. Oh, okay. It's not a good formula for a booming state. Meanwhile,
You go down to places like North Carolina and Florida, the places that have taken all of these citizens, and they're really booming. I mean, you get used in New York to things not working and highways not being cleaned up and just general decay. You drive around these low and no tax states, and the medians are so pretty. There are flowers all over. Vote Republican.
Well, hey, we're out of time. If you want a great book, get Ann Coulter's new book, Resistance is Futile. It's already a huge bestseller. It's your best book ever. And what was some of the comments people, like the certain things people pick out of that book to tell you about?
Oh, that's a good one. A lot of them are visual comparisons. The dossier, for example, which the media was pedal to the metal behind, and the fact that it was used for a FISA warrant was cited over and over and over again to prove the dossier must be true. Then it turned out the dossier was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the exact same hosts, Chris Cuomo and so on. I put the quotes side by side. I don't know where they got the idea that the dossier was used for a FISA warrant.
It's a great book. You'll love this book, Resistance is Futile. It's Ann Coulter's new book. Go out and get it. Go to Amazon, or you can go to AnnCoulter.com. And Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.